Okay, good job, mate. Really well done. That was a fantastic drive.
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top three today. Iceman, Bottas, and Lewis Hamilton. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. Who's your main competition on the grid? It's always good to qualify at the front, isn't it? The weather hasn't been ideal in qualifying. What's your take on it? It's been a great qualifying session for you. Are you going to carry that momentum into the race? Appreciate your time.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before the braking zone of turn 14. Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me once again for the Grand Prix. Can we begin by having a chat about Sergio Perez? Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Iceman lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, Sebastian Vettel, and Leclerc, Albon, Sainz, Ricciardo, and Lando Norris, Galeal, Ocon, Lance Stroll, and Kvyat, Giovinazzi, Grosjean, Pierre Gasly, and Kimi Raikkonen. Russell, Perez, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Latifi and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish. First lap, keep it up. was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. To teammate behind is 5.5 seconds. Okay, some information on Bottas. They are out of the race. This is your final lap of the race. Green flag. Absolutely awesome. Just amazing. Well done.
Can't fault the performance on the track today. A well-deserved victory. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
The faces on our top three look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all. And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. Iceman increases their championship lead. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Charles Leclerc showed exactly how to manage yourself out on the track today. He was almost flawless out there. Incredible stuff. All respect to the fans' choice, they fully deserve it. But I just feel that my pick had a little more on their plate, so their ability to keep a cool head and come through for such a strong finish made the difference, at least in my opinion.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. The current leaders continue to extend their lead at the top. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
So that was an exciting race from our perspective. Let's have yours. It's looking like the championship is already won. Do you think there's still time for this to change? It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it? It was more like dodgems than Formula One today, wasn't it? Great. Well, that's everything.